Hey everyone, welcome to my book club. My name is Carrington, if this is your first time here, but if not, hi, welcome back. Even if this is your 100th time, not your first time, whatever the case may be, and you guys enjoy books, talking about books, you want to join the book club, then definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. There will be some questions posted along the way, so if you've read this book, leave them down below. If you have not read this book, you just want to know what this book is about, maybe you just like listening to what books are about. My best friend loves knowing what books are about. She just does not want to read a book. Maybe you want to see what's out there in the world, then this video is for you. So let's go ahead and let's dive right on in. So today's book of the week, are we going to do book of the week? We might just do book of the week. Book of the week is The Gift by Freida Mcfadden. Now, if you have not already seen, I have done where I ranked the last 5 books that I had read. I have already ranked this where I gave like a short little synopsis of it, but in this video, we're going to dive right on into it. We're going to talk about it top to bottom, front to back, what I thought, all the things, okay? If you guys are new to the book world, or maybe you're not really familiar with like psychological thrillers, page turners, then you may not know who Freida Mcfadden is. But if you are somebody who joins like book clubs, or you're on Book Talk or anything like that, you will see Freida Mcfadden mentioned numerous times. She is so very, very popular. I don't know if she's ever, it says #1 best-selling author. I don't know if she's ever been like a New York Times bestseller. I'm sure she will be after this year with as many people as there are recommending her. Okay, we got there. It's fine. We got there. Before we dive in, #1, if you need a snack, grab your snack. Okay? Literally, I found these Dots Homestyle pretzels, cinnamon sugar pretzel twist. This is not sponsored. Okay, I've never been sponsored 5 minutes of my life ever. But these are so good. If you like cinnamon toast, right? With like the bread and the butter and the cinnamon and the sugar mixture, this tastes just like that. My childhood memory has been activated and I'm here for it, okay? Sprite, okay, it's basic. We love basic here. We love basic. Also, I really don't feel like this book had like a lot of trigger warnings, but as always, if you feel you might have trigger warnings, just check them, okay? Just check them. I honestly feel like this is probably like a really, really tame book compared to some of the things that I read because I have no trigger warnings. But again, just go into this. I just don't think there was a lot. Okay, this is literally a 50-page book. It's literally less than that. It goes from page 6, page 5, to 50. So there's 45 pages. 45 pages. So I don't really feel like it has quite a lot of trigger warnings, but boy, does a lot happen. Let's go ahead and let's dive on it. We are going to start off with, this book starts off with, okay, why? There's like cat hair all over my book. It drives me insane. I have a Maine Coon and she literally just gets hair everywhere. Everywhere. It's an atrocity. Okay. So it starts off with Stella. Okay, she is working her second job. So just preface this by saying she works 2 jobs to support her and her newer husband. Her husband is in law school. I think this is either his first or I think it's his second year is what it said. This is his second year in law school. He has left his job so that way he can just focus solely on law school, so he says. And so she works as a teacher and then she works at this diner. It is Christmas Eve. It's their very first Christmas together. They know that they just don't have a lot of money because she is a teacher having to work at this diner where there's not a lot of customers. But it's late at night and there's this old man that she's just like waiting to leave. And then she notices this woman in the corner, but she doesn't remember her ever being served and there were no like dishes or anything like that in front of her. So they try to go and like wake her up and then it seems like she's dead. Like she just killed over and died in this booth. Don't worry, she did not. She eventually like came to and nobody had taken care of her and she literally just like wasn't even upset about it. but she was like, hey, I had overheard the conversation that you were having with your coworker, that this is your first Christmas with your husband. You know, if you want to get him a gift, I own this store and I'm willing to make deals. And she was like, oh, it's going to be so exciting, but we decided no gifts. And then she gets a text message from him that says, hey, I have a surprise for you when you get home. And so then she was like, never mind, I want to take you up on that deal. So the lady's name is Helga. Helga like writes down the address and says, great, when you get done closing up, I will meet you there. So she's like, great. So she like hurries up and they're like closing really quick. And the person that she's closing with is like, hey, all the major stuff's been done. Like, go ahead and go. Like, I've got the rest of it. So she goes running to this, she has like a pawn shop kind of. And so when she goes in there, she notices like this skull, like it looks like a real human skull. And she was just like, wow, where would somebody get something like that or trade for something like that? You know, like how weird. But she's just like kind of like going through the store and she doesn't really see a lot that like she thinks would really interest her husband. And the things are also kind of pricey. Finally, the Helga goes like, hey, Stella, girl, look at this like pocket watch chain, you know, like this really like nice pristine chain that you could put like a little pocket watch on. So she's like, how much is it? And Helga told her the price and it was a little bit pricey. Remember, like this is just like a low diner. It's Christmas Eve. A lot of people probably aren't out and about, you know, getting food, things like that. And she needed to really save the money for bills. They had some bills coming up, so that's what she really needed to focus her money on. And she was like, dang, you know, he has this pocket watch that I got from his grandpa. He would really love that. I just, unfortunately, like, I just can't afford it. She's like, I just don't think there's anything that's going to be in here for me. So finally the lady was like, remember, I'm all about making deals. Remember, Helga loves a deal. Helga loves a deal. Okay, Helga. Coming in clutch. Yes, ma'am. Helga. Oh, I have summoned my dogs. Sorry. So then she was like, well, what do you have in mind, Helga? And Helga was like, well, I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I make wigs for people to buy or trade for things that they might need, you know? And so she was like, just really just like taken aback because for her hair, she loves her hair. She feels like she gets a lot of her identity from her hair. And she feels like, you know, a lot of people really like her because of her hair. Like, is this like really weird, superficial things? Yes. But is that like just part of life? Also, yes. So she was just like, I don't really know. But then she was like, you know what? I really want my husband to have a good Christmas. And I don't want to feel like I let him down. He got me something, so I don't want to feel like I let him down and I didn't get him anything. So she was like, okay, I'll do it. She cuts her hair to the scalp. She cuts her hair to the scalp. Okay, and poor Stella is literally just like jaw drop, like, wow, what am I doing? What is happening here? I would be too. I would be mortified. I would be mystified. But anyways, so she ends up going through with it. She takes the locket. She puts her hair into like a beanie. She goes home. And there he is, Mr. Justin, just sitting there on the couch. And she is so excited to give him his gift. And he gives her her gift. He had made her brownies. And she was very, very, very upset about this. Now, for some people, I know, you know, everybody's going to react differently to this situation. So, you know, take that for what that is. But she's very upset because while he's in his second year of law school, right? He just started his second year of law school. It's Christmas time. So it probably starts in like August and now it's December. So he's probably finished one semester of his second year. I don't know what all they do in law school, but I'm assuming it's probably not enough that like he has to be gone all the time. So he's gone all the time. She's working 2 jobs to pay for everything. When she comes home, she is cooking the meals. She's the one who's usually baking brownies for everyone. You know, just like things like that. And he just made her some brownies. And she just cut her hair. So she's a little bit like upset about it. But then she notices his suitcase. His packed suitcase is in the hallway. And she thought that was really odd. Turns out she then finds out that Justin has been, in fact, cheating. That's why he's gone all the time. That's why he had to leave his job, so that a way he could go to school, study, but then also still have time for her and the other person, this other lady, right? That's special and in his life. And she is upset. She is very upset about this. Also, while finding out that he would like to leave her, she then presents the chain to him, and he acted like he could care less. Like he couldn't care less. Or he could care less. Like he could care less. Like he could care less. I think that's what's supposed to be. Like he could care less about the fact that she had got him something for this pocket watch that meant a lot to him because he had got it from his grandpa. Right? So the next day she goes and she storms herself right back into Helga's shop, as she should. You go, girl. But she marches herself right back into Helga's shop, and she's like, I'd like to make a deal with you. You're all about deals, aren't you? And Helga's like, why, yes, I am. How can I assist you? And she's like, well, good. I'm glad we're seeing eye to eye. She's like, I have this pocket watch and this chain, and I would like that in exchange for one of your wigs. She goes, I'm thinking red. And we all know red is a classic single sign, right? Everybody, you've been hurt. When you've been hurt, you dye your hair red. I just know this from personal experience. That's all I'm saying. And then, or black. It just depends, you know, red or black. But she is like, so now Helga's just like, okay, yeah, all right. I did not see this coming. What is going on? What is happening? Why is she coming in here? Finally, she kind of pieces together that Stella murdered Justin. And Helga's a little bit taken aback by it, but also okay with it. Because then she talks to her husband. The skull that we talked about earlier, she walked in and she's like, why is there a human skull here? This is really weird. That's her husband. It's not for sale. As for what happened, that's all I know. But then it like breaks down where Helga talks about that her daughter, Helga's daughter is now pregnant. Is now pregnant with a child. But her baby's father is in a relationship, is married. Is married. And you're like, married to who? That's a great question. Stella, of course. Of course, that is Stella's husband. And now she is pregnant. And he was not willing to leave his wife at first. So Helga thought that if she cut off all of Stella's hair, made her cut off all of her hair, that her husband would then see her as she's not beautiful, she's not worthy. Which the husband seems like he was already willing to leave her beforehand, right? Because she was still, her hair was still in a beanie. Like he didn't even know she had cut it off yet. And his suitcase was already packed by the time she came home. So like that was taken out of the way. And so you would think Helga's like, well, now she's going to be left fatherless. Well, now it's like, well, you're left fatherless, but at least he's dead. Right? You don't have to put up with that. You know, you don't have to put up with any cheating or any extra people, anything like that. So she just doesn't say anything and just bids her a good day. And that's just how it ends. That's how it ends. Again, it's short. It's 45 pages. There's not going to be a lot of character development, a lot that goes on, a lot of like in-depth details, descriptions, things like that. Okay, it's not going to happen, and that's totally fine. Right? Like that's fine. But it's just short. It was short, sweet, to the point, but I thought it was a really, really good book. If you guys have read this, what did you think of it, especially with it being so short? I know Freida Mcfadden typically does like a lot of, you know, longer books that have a lot more substance to it. I thought this was pretty good for 45 pages. I was going to say $45, but it's only 45 pages. I think this is pretty good for it being 45 pages. It was a little bit wild, but I did kind of feel like it was like, I think I'm going to kind of know what's going to happen. So I knew it had something to do with Helga. Helga knew something somewhere along the way, and something was going to happen. I didn't necessarily know. I didn't necessarily think that it was going to be her daughter that was pregnant with his kid, but I thought it had something to do with like a relationship type thing. And right? So I thought this was a pretty good, interesting book for it only being 45 pages. If you've read this book, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Are there any points in the book that you really like that maybe I didn't cover? Are there things in the book you want to re-elaborate on? What was your favorite part of the book? If you haven't read this book, you just wanted to kind of see what it was about, is this a book you would like if you enjoyed reading? Would you want to watch it in like as a movie maybe? You know, let me know all of that down below in the comments. If you enjoyed, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for joining the book club. Hey, hi, how are you? So thank you guys so much for joining the book club. We're going to try to do this book of the week. Okay, again, we're going to try. It doesn't mean we're always going to get there. All right, I have ADHD. Sometimes I have really good ideas in my mind, things I need to know I need to do, and then executive dysfunction happens and I cannot function. If you want to be a part of the book club, make sure you guys have subscribed. Click the little bell so you'll be notified every time book of the week goes up. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.